Hi and welcome to The Print. My name is Karanjeet Kaur. I'm a journalist and an editor. Today I'd like to talk to you about Agwad Port and Jail Complex, which is Goa's newest cultural venue. On a rare sunny day in Goa, after weeks of unexpected rain, I found myself at the Agwad Port and Jail Complex. Tourists in matching quad sets milled about the 400-year-old stone jetty, cold beers in hand. One of them put on lively music on their portable speaker, and the sea breeze carried it along. It was a scene of perfect tranquility and joy, until the burden of the past crashed the party. The Agwad Port and Jail Complex is a location with a complicated and violent history. Just under a decade ago, these walls contained not tourists, but prisoners. And the only sounds that once emanated from here were the clanging of cell doors and the screams from the torture chambers. The Agwad complex came up in 1612, when it was constructed by the Portuguese as a defensive stronghold against external invasions. Over the centuries, it transformed from a bustling port to a formidable prison. It bore witness to the struggles of freedom fighters and political dissidents involved in Goa's liberation. After Operation Vijay in 1961, Agwad complex became Goa's central jail and continued to be the state's largest prison until 2015, when the facility was shifted to Kolwale. There is a deep sense of dissonance at Agwad, which has sprung to life again as a cultural hub after years of faithful renovation. While the beauty of the sprawling expanse is undeniable, the weight of its history is equally palpable. Agwad now hosts a very spiffy interactive museum, exhibition rooms, a couple of restaurants, and panoramic outdoor event spaces. It is a very vital addition to Goa's limited array of artistic venues. Yet, there is an undercurrent of unease that I can't quite shake. The restaurants, for instance, overlook two very poignant statues from the 1960s. One is a broken Mother India, and the other is of a man carrying his fallen comrade. These sculptures are meant to celebrate Goa's liberation while honoring those who sacrificed their lives, but they now serve as a backdrop for casual meals. A few meters away is a structure that was once a female prison cell and housed prominent figures including Sharada Padmakar Savaikar. At 16, she was falsely accused of killing a supporter of Antonio Salazar, Portugal's dictatorial prime minister at the time. Savaikar endured over 2 years of severe torture within these very walls. She lost all her teeth due to the brutality and had scars on her head when she walked free. A few meters past the female prison is the torture chamber, located strategically to ensure the screams of those being harmed would resound throughout the entire prison. There are reminders of the price of freedom everywhere, in the solemn wall of plaques commemorating fallen fighters, in the filled-in dents on the walls along the cannon walk, which once supported metal cages that prisoners were forced to walk through. It's present in the solitary cell of T.B. Cunha, known as the father of Goan nationalism, who spent 8 years in confinement for mobilizing resistance against Portuguese rule, and who died before seeing a liberated Goa. The upper area, which is close to the public, still houses a giant pillar that was used for executions and from where bodies would be dropped into a pit that carried them into the sea. Now, as I watch fellow visitors pose for selfies against the complex's white walls, I wonder if it is possible to reconcile the dark history of a place with its new avatar as a space for leisure and entertainment, in a way that honors its complex legacy. Agwad isn't the first venue to be transformed in this way. Similar conversions have occurred around the world. The Alcatraz Island in San Francisco in the US, which once had a maximum security prison, now hosts millions of tourists annually who are drawn to its sordid history. In the UK, the Malmaison Oxford Hotel, a former Victorian prison, invites guests to do time in luxury. Hospitals and sanatoriums in Europe routinely find a new lease of life as art workshops and concert arenas. In a state that doesn't have too many such settings, is it possible to reckon with the ethics of repurposing sites of historical trauma for public amusement? Now, any such exercise in repurposing is bound to be contentious. It is a fine balance between acknowledging history without being atrophied by it and imbuing a place with fresh meaning. Where Aguad truly shines is in its commitment to commemorating the history of Goa's liberation. The interactive museum is divided into 3 distinct exhibits that focus on Goa's land, struggle, and people. Together, it is a powerful remembrance of some often overlooked chapters of Indian history. Here, the past is treated with requisite gravitas. The museum's exhibits are thoughtfully curated and innovatively presented. I and a few children around me were most engaged by a nifty gadget that dispenses snippets of information about Goa's history on paper, turning the whole learning experience into a very tangible one. Among the many stories highlighted in the museum, one that stands out is that of Libya Lobo, a heroine of Goa's liberation who recently turned 100. During the tense years of the resistance, Lobo played a crucial role by operating the underground radio station Voice of Freedom from the forests of the Western Ghats. The broadcasts, made at great personal risk to Lobo and her comrade Vaman Sardesai, formed a counter-narrative against colonial propaganda and informed Goans about the progress of the liberation movement. They sustained it for 6 years, and when the state was finally liberated, Lobo and Sardesai announced the news from an Indian Air Force plane kitted out with a radio and a loudspeaker. Lobo's story is an impressive demonstration of the determination that fueled Goa's path to freedom. More importantly, the solemnity with which these narratives are preserved strikes a respectful balance with Aguad's new role. This thoughtful approach indicates that it is indeed possible for Aguad to straddle its difficult legacy and its new identity as part memorial and part playground. It's an uncomfortable blend for sure, but maybe that's the point. After all, what's history if it doesn't make you squirm a little bit?